So welcome everyone to We Are Endurance webinar series. It is my great pleasure to introduce you to Ed Gabriels. I've known Ed since I started triathlon back in 2015. I think I first
Yeah.
met you. And he is an amazing athlete, an amazing swimmer, and an amazing triathlete. And without further ado, I'm going to introduce you to Ed, and I'm going to let Ed, just give us some background about himself, his background, and that type of thing.
Hello, everyone. It's nice to see everyone. And I know you all have great interest in the craziness that I do. But I mean, my background is actually in swimming. I swam competitively for 13 years, from 7 to 20, and then I took off 20 years. And then back in my 40s, I started doing triathlons again. So, and I started when I was 43, and now 20 years later, I'm still doing it. So, in addition to some other things, I was actually a USA swimming coach, a USA triathlon coach. Hillary and I met through the triathlon world. I used to run triathlon training camps out of my house in upstate New York. COVID kind of took that away. But, when you're coaching, it's really not about the money when you're coaching. It's really about building great relationships. Unless, of course, you're training. If you're training like pro athletes, obviously there's money in that, and you have a few of them. That's where the money is. But when you're doing it for locals and local friends and people that just want to learn a lot, you're doing it because you love the sport and you love to see progression from others. So. But cold water swimming, I know that's kind of like the big thing for this little webinar. So the way I started, we can start off with that, is that about 10 years ago, there's another coach that Hillary knows, John Stewart. Uh, he wanted to swim a relay in the English Channel, which was a four-person relay. So to actually swim the relay, you have to be able to swim for 2 hours in sub 60-degree water. That's for a relay. If you're swimming it by yourself, you have to swim for 6 hours in sub 60-degree water. So John and I started off one year, and the best time to start off is in the summertime, so you can actually just start off with warmer water and train through the winter, which is what we did. We trained through the winter, we trained back through the summer, we trained back through the winter again, and then finally we did his swim like 2 years later. So and he accomplished that. He swam. He actually was the last person in his relay to swim, so he got out in France, which was great. And we continued to do it for a couple more years together, and then he had twins, so he stopped. And
Kind of put a little damper on things.
little damper having twins. They're so cute though. And he stopped, and I just kept going. So, and I've gotten involved in a lot of different things. I've done different national championships. There was some in Coney Island that I've done, and then there's an event that I do every year for the last 8 years or 9 years. I've gone to Vermont the last weekend of February, which is next weekend. And we go and about 150 people from around the world show up, and we all swim a swim meet in a pool that's cut out of a lake. So.
All right, so talk to us about how you prepare your body for the shock. Now, I know you said there's no shock, but there is a shock. Tell us how you can actually get started with this.
Yeah, so if you're looking to start cold water swimming, I say don't start right now. Starting right now is kind of probably one of the worst things you can do to your body, in the sense that it's going to be shocking. It is, no doubt about it. I I would say start in like August or September, right when the water's probably the warmest wherever you're located, probably in September. And then the best way to do it is to travel through the cold months, because the more often you do it, the more often, the more you get used to it, just like anything. Heat training is the same way. If you're doing training for heat, the more you do it, the more you get used to it. So it's not suggested that you start in the summer, in the wintertime. It's just, it's too much of a shock on your body. I mean, when I first started off, there's pictures all over Facebook of me somewhere. Um, a good way to start is to buy booties and gloves, which you know about, Hillary. And also there's neoprene caps that keep you good, like for your hands and your feet, but your hands and your feet, your extremities, they take the worst beating of everything, because what happens is when you get in the water, all your blood goes to your organs. So your feet and your hands surface, your blood surface is, right at the surface of your skin and all that. So it's like it gets beat up the worst. So if you're going to start it in the summertime. That's good. You asked me if there's a shock. I tell you this, it never gets easy. It never gets easy. I'm standing at Kingston Point in New York yesterday. And there's like 10-mile-an-hour winds, the water's 37 degrees. Take off your clothes, and it just never gets easier walking in the water. You would think that it would, but
And you go in every day?
if I can, I'm preparing for Newport for Vermont for next week. So I've swam 3 days already this week, 3 out of 5 days. So I might go in today. Depends on the wind. Up here where I live, it's like 30-mile-an-hour winds today. So getting out of the water is horrible, horrible. So because you're cold and you get out and it's cold, even more so. But it never gets easy.
Could you
But
talk to us about like how you train throughout the year
for
for
swimming in
for cold
general,
water swimming? Yeah.
for cold water
So
swim, I mean,
yeah, do you like stay in a certain amount of time? Like when you first got started, it
yeah.
seems like a lot of people, they go in for like 2 minutes and they're done, but
But that's the thing. Like, so I've been doing it for over 10 years, which makes me, I mean, that's quite a bit of time, over 10 years. When I first went in, I go in for a few minutes too. That's the thing. Like, your body gradually gets used to it. So like I was saying earlier, I used to have booties and gloves and a neoprene cap and the whole works. The other thing you need if you're cold water swimming, you need to wear earplugs. And the reason you need to have earplugs is two things. One is it keeps the cold water out of your head, which makes you feel a little bit warmer. And also it can actually damage your ear canal if you don't wear earplugs.
wow.
And I wear earplugs at when the water gets to 55 and under. So if it's under 55, I suggest you be wearing earplugs all the way until when decide you don't want to go in anymore. But yeah, I mean, when I started off slowly. I'd go in for a few minutes. I'd swim as much as I could, and the water temperatures were in the 40s, and it was cold when it was in the 40s. I mean, we all know it's cold at 40. Most of the time, the water that comes out of your tap doesn't get under 50 degrees. I have well water where I live, and my water here doesn't get under 50 degrees. So, I mean, that's cold, but we're talking like ice swimming. To be able to do ice swimming, the water temperature has to be 41 degrees or 5 degrees Celsius. That's considered ice swimming, and that's something that's been put in writing by the governing bodies, basically, of ice swimming. So the International Ice Swimming Association, if you want to look at more about it, that would be a great a great connection. It's the IISA. They're on Facebook, Instagram, everything else, but they just got incorporated last month in Switzerland. So now they're a corporation. Yeah. So they're the ones that run the event I was recently at. And then they do a world championship every other year. So on the odd years is world championships and nation championships, and Europeans are on the even years. So
What is the coldest temperature you've ever swum in?
29.8.
Wow. Now, how do you motivate yourself to get in the cold water?
Yeah, so it's motivation is like, okay, so we're all athletes here, basically, I think. Except maybe Hillary. But no.
I'm a non-athlete.
We all have our mindset. That's the thing. Like, how do you motivate yourself to do what you do when you train? Like, you have to like really get, it's such a huge mental game. This everything we do, even in parts of our lives, it's all a mental game. Like, we have to like really have our heads about us to do it. How do I motivate myself? I sign up for events. That goes with everything I do athletic. It's like, I signed up for the nationals this year. I was signed up for the Vermont thing, the Vermont swimming event next weekend. It's motivation, and then also having friends that do it really help motivate you. So I have other people that I do these events with, and some of them, I have two of them that are going with me up to Vermont this next week. And it's having additional friends with you that do the same thing helps motivate you,
Yeah,
honestly.
yeah.
You
No,
know, or creating a group. I have a group up here now that's in Kingston that every Sunday we meet at Kingston Point, and we all go in. And it started off with just a few people, and now it's grown to like 10 or 12 people that meet every Sunday. So having somebody to do it with is super motivating. And if you don't have anyone to do it with, you know, I suggest signing up for something. It it in itself is a motivator just to be able to sign up for something, and then you have something in your head. Oh, I have to go swimming today. The thing is, I don't have to go in long. I can go in for 3 minutes and
hmm
get out.
hmm
But like I said earlier, the more often you do it, the easier it becomes to like go back to it. I'm not saying it's easy to get back in. It's just, you can withstand something more and more. You just go in more often, and it really does help with your motivation, and it helps with your ability to stay in longer. So
Now, I've heard that the way to get into this is to take cold showers. Is that true?
you can. I know a lot of people that take cold showers every day. I know people that have ice baths in their backyards that they get into a tub. It's become a really big thing that, the Ice Bath
Yeah.
Curious site on Facebook. People get into these tubs every day and do it. And I mean, it's not a bad thing. It's not a bad thing for you.
Yeah, I've heard
That's the
it's
thing. There
very good
are
for you.
there are benefits of doing cold water plunging.
So could you talk to us a little bit about like, have you ever experienced hypothermia or any cold water related
Well,
health issues from doing this?
okay. So if you're gonna start it, I suggest going to your doctor, getting checked out, getting EKG done. I mean, it's serious business. It's no doubt about serious business when it comes to getting in cold water. You just don't know what to expect. For some of my events, they actually request that you get an EKG before, and
Wow.
your doctor has to check you out. And I've been doing it for a while, and I still do it because I have to stay in the sport. So I'm not a doctor. Let me state that. But I would suggest if you're considering doing it more often, that you get a checkup by your doctor before you really get involved in it. Um, I'm sorry, what was your question again? Oh, about hypothermia. Yeah, so hypothermia is a very interesting thing. So um, I know people that have I experienced it. Hypothermia is an interesting thing. It's like when your body shakes, it's like you get out of the water and you're like this. It's like which is actually a good thing because it's your body telling you to warm up. Okay. It's your body reacting to that. But that's like borderline hypothermia when that happens to you. And I know most people experience that. So um, I just saw a video of a guy that swam a mile at Coney Island, and he does it a lot, but he was like shaking, and that's borderline. We've all probably experienced borderline hypothermia, but we haven't gone to the dark side of hypothermia where you have to have somebody come get you. You have to have, like emergency come. I've never experienced that. Um, but at my events, um, I have people that are very well experienced that have not got to the point of emergency people coming, but have had extreme hypothermia. So I've actually helped somebody. Like if you get out and you can't stop shaking, there's a couple of things you can do. You can take hot, the hand pads and things like that and stick them in your armpits because the surface of your blood runs closest in your armpits or in your crotch or whatever. You know what I mean? It's just like wherever the blood runs closest to the surface, that's going to help warm up your blood in your system much quicker. Okay. Um, but yeah, we all experience it in some way or another. It just, I'll say this, the more often you do it, the more you start to understand about your body as well. So when I first started, I didn't know a lot about my body. I'd go in for a few minutes, I'd come out, I'd be shaking, I'd be in the car, I'd be turned on the heat as high as it goes, do all of that kind of stuff. And I thought not getting dressed and having heat was actually better. It's actually get dressed as quickly as possible because you want to start warming your body with your clothing as quickly as possible. You want to retain your heat. Okay. Um, Hypothermia. I don't experience it often because I've been doing it so long. And this is something you will experience as well, that you learn more and more and more about your body and what you can stand and what you can't.
Can you talk to us a little bit about nutrition and how it plays a role in your preparation for this and also for your recovery?
Okay. So nutrition is one thing. So and I mean, I'm not against drinking by any means. But if you're looking to do cold water sports, it's not really the best thing for you. So, because it breaks down your body. I mean, um, if you're doing an event or you're going in the next day and you're like worried about it, um, it does affect your body. Okay. So, like for big events, I'll take anywhere from 2 to 4 weeks off of drinking before I go into an event, just so it gets out of my body completely.
Wow.
Yeah, because it can affect you. I've been at swim meets where people have drank the night before they've done the event and they've had really bad effects to the cold to getting out of the cold water after they've done their event and then their body like won't stop shaking.
Mm.
So that's one of the big things. As far as nutrition, I mean, I'm never really too worried about what I eat or how much I eat. I'm not that guy. I'm also a chef, so it makes it very difficult for me to say I can't eat this or I can't eat that. But I also know that with cold water swimming, I can pretty much eat anything I want because I burn so many calories doing it. Because when you get out of the water, your body actually burns more calories continued for multiple hours because it's warming itself up. So I'm always way hungrier when I get out of the water than when, before I go in. So, and I may only be in for 8 minutes and I feel like I could eat the whole side of a cow. So I mean, you can be nutritionally safe and do a lot of like nutrition to get ready for it. But I think one of the big things is about drinking, not to actually, to abstain from it for an extended period of time if you're going in for an extended period of time or doing some form of event for it. That's what I would say.
Interesting. So before I open this up to questions, I have one more question. I mean, I have a couple more, but I have one more. Um, can you share with us one of your most memorable experiences from cold water swimming?
Hmm. Most memorable. I don't know. I mean, one of the best ones was the most recent event that I was at, which was the Nationals. And I have never, so when I go to Vermont, the longest event there is 200 meters, and I've done that every year. So I wanted to push myself a little bit further, so I did the 500-meter swim. And that's the longest I've ever done in cold water in an event form. I mean, I swim at 41, I can swim 1,000 without an issue, but for an event, um, very proud to be able to go to the US Winter Nationals for the United States. And as I said earlier, I actually came back with 6 gold medals for the US in my age group. So that makes me very happy. I went and I showed my swim coach. I went and showed my doctor that gave me the okay and everything else. So I'm very, very proud that I was able to partake in the US Nationals in swimming, because when I was a kid, I was really good as a kid, but I didn't make the Olympics or anything. But I went to college for it. I went to high school for it. But I might be going to Worlds next year, so
Wow.
I'll be part of the U.S. team for the Worlds, which are in Movigno, Italy, in the Dolomites.
Oh
So
my God, how
yeah,
wonderful.
yeah. So we'll see about that. But being part of the U.S. team is kind of nice. I gotta
That's
say.
awesome. That's
Thanks.
congratulations. That is amazing. All
Thanks.
right. Does anybody have any questions?
I do. So I know that the early channel swimmers, or any of the early endurance swimmers, when they were in cold water, they would, cover their bodies in grease. Is there anything that you put on, Vaseline or anything? Or
I actually don't, because I don't swim extended period of times. The other reason they would put on grease is for chafing purposes,
Mhm.
because whether it's in the channel or you're in the ocean, there's always salt abrasion. So a lot of them do it for that. They also do it for protection, not just against the cold water or the water in general, but it's also for sun protection if you're doing extended periods of time, because the channel takes anywhere from like 10 to 16 hours. And that's through the day and through the night and through the day again, possibly. So a lot of them are putting either Vaseline or Desitin, which is for baby, for,
Mhm.
yeah. So you'll see a lot of people that are completely white, and that's for also not just for abrasion, but also sun protection. So,
Right. Okay.
but I don't use anything. When I go in the water, the only thing I have on is my bathing suit, my swim cap, my goggles, and a set of earplugs. And the best thing is, I mean, for me, because you know, is watching people watch you. Like, hi, I'm at the beach. It's 20 degrees outside. and I'm going for a swim. And people, that's the other thing I want to actually say is that if you're going to go, depending on what body of water you're going into, whether if it's a stream, not such a big deal, or because when the lakes all freeze here and the Hudson freezes, I go to my local stream. But one of the things you want to do is you want to let people know that you're going cold water swimming. And if you do have somebody that will either watch you or go with you in the water, highly suggest that.
Yeah, I was just going to say, normally for any kind of open water swimming, it's always suggested to bring somebody but with
Yeah.
you. But I would say even more importantly, if you're going to go cold water swimming.
Exactly. It's always good to have somebody know where you are or be with you, whether it's cold water swimming or open water swimming in general. So.
Yeah.
Yep. Jackie, I have a question for you. Jackie, get off mute. I know.
Jackie Brown.
Yeah. Hillary was saying that you're near Detroit. Whereabouts?
Yeah, I'm about an hour north of Detroit in Macomb County, Washington Township.
Nice. I grew up in Wayne County.
Oh, okay. Well, I was born in Detroit, so.
Okay. Yeah. I grew up in Livonia and went to school in Detroit.
Okay. Yep.
High school and college. So.
And I heard Hillary telling you about our swim to the moon that they do out at Half Moon Lake Beach.
Yeah.
This year's the first year. I don't know if Hillary signed up yet or not, but I think she was talking about doing the 15K.
I'm not doing the 15. I'm doing the 10.
You're not. Oh, you are. That's still a big deal, right? Because I'm like 5K is enough for me, and if I feel like cutting back, maybe 1.2 is good. But those lakes, they're so nice, especially that time of year. The water is perfect, and it's a really well supported swim. So
what time of year is it?
It's in middle of August or late August, whatever. So mid-August is probably more right.
Yeah.
So the water, the lakes are at, their peak temperature, and it's just, it's not, it'd probably be too hot for you. It'll feel like you're in a sauna.
I swim Jackie, I swim year round. I do.
Oh, okay. That's cool.
Yeah, I swim year round. I actually swam in the pool today. It was 79, which is,
I wish we could. I wish we could get the local pools here to dial it back, right? Some of the gyms here, for some reason, their pools are over 80 degrees. And we're like, excuse me, but it's too hot for lap swimming.
Yeah, I mean, it's wet. That's so crazy.
Yeah.
The other day it was 83. It was 83 and today was 79. And,
Yeah.
I know. Well, the water I swam in yesterday was 37. So.
Okay. Yeah. I don't think I'd be swimming in that. I'd be screaming in it, but not swimming.
So, but it's good. Maybe I'll get there in August. I don't think so, but
no.
I was looking at that Mackinac Island swim as well.
Oh yeah, that one's, I think it's going on like its 4th or 5th year now. Very popular swim. They got a lot of rules though, like
you gotta wear a wetsuit.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. And you wouldn't want to do it, but it's 8.5 miles, so it's kind of a long swim.
Yeah.
And maybe that's part of it, right? Because you're going to be in that coldish water for a really, really long time.
I mean, it can be in the 50s there, which, the water temperature may be in the 50s, and 8 miles in 50-degree water it's serious. No doubt about it. So.
Yeah, but I know quite a few people who have done it and they really enjoyed it. I guess the water is crystal clear and it's yeah, so it's very popular.
For 28 years, so.
Yeah, okay.
I know all about it, no doubt. So
I've never been in that water before. I've run a couple half marathons on the island, but I've never done anything in the water. So
nice. Well, maybe someday you will.
Maybe. I don't know. It's 8.5 miles is a long. I mean, I don't know that I really want to swim that long. My shoulders just don't.
Yeah.
Like Ironman distance swim is about as much as I can do, or the 5K at swim.
I get bored after 10K. I swim for 3 hours.
Okay.
And I'm like, oh my God, how do you guys swim 25 miles? It's crazy.
Yeah, that's
like, I mean, I know people that swim way further than 25, and I'm just like, how do you do that?
Yeah.
How about you, Ray? Ray, are you swimming 25 miles?
No,
Ah, darn.
no, the most I've ever swam is 5K. So,
That's great. Yeah.
but so I have a two-part question for you. I know that um, open water swimming, especially in the countryside, is very popular in England. I think they call it wilding.
Yep.
And in the winter, they have a general guideline. I think they suggest limiting the amount of time based on what the temperature of the water is over freezing. So if it's like 6 degrees over freezing, then you stay in for 6 minutes, whatever. Is there a guideline that you would suggest? And the second part of the question is, you know, when do you know, okay, I got to get out of the water? Is there a point where I say, okay, if I'm feeling this, I need to get out?
Yeah. Um, like I was saying earlier in the call, do I have any guidelines? Well, the first part of the question, do I have any guidelines? And to me, they both run in the same question for me. Um, when I can't feel certain parts of my body, that's when I get out. Do I have any guidelines of how long I should stay in? Well, I've been doing it for so long that I know that swimming in 30-degree water, my limitations are like at 30 degrees, which is what Vermont is, 3 minutes, and I'm happy to get out. I'm like, I don't want to be in any longer than 3 minutes. Because the other thing is that we haven't talked about, and this is serious business, is that we talked about our extremities. We can actually have nerve damage in our extremities. So that's something to think about. Like if you use your hands, I bake a lot, I cook a lot. I'm an athlete, I run, I do all that stuff. But your feet and your hands, you can actually have nerve damage in them. Mind you, it comes back, but I've known people that haven't had feeling in their fingers and toes for months, like 3-4 months with no feeling in their hands and feet because the water's too cold and it damages your nerves. So it's something else to think about, is like, how long do you want to stay in? When you can't feel your hands and your feet when you're swimming, they turn into clubs and your hands are like this and you can't move them. And you're swimming and your hands may separate, but they feel literally like clubs. And then when you get out and you try to walk on your feet and you can't feel them,
Yep.
things to think about. I mean, how do you know when to get out? Your body tells you it's time to get out. I don't want to have my hands feel this way right now. I need to get out. And one of the things that really helps me when I get out is that I have a tray of like lukewarm water waiting for me. Like when I get out, I just pour the lukewarm water into a tray and I like dip my hand and pull it out and dip my hand or dip my feet and pull it out. It helps get the circulation of your blood working back to your extremities a lot quicker.
Wow.
So things, and you're in Michigan. Ray, where are you located?
Long Island.
Long Island.
You're
If I'm
both-
ever down in the area and I can contact Hillary, if anyone on the call, if I'm in any of your areas and it's, you're thinking about cold water swimming, if we want to go for a swim together someday, I can make myself available for that as well. So
Yeah, I was going to ask you, since you're in Kingston, do you do the Hudson Valley Triathlon at all?
the
That's in
Alpha
June?
Wind one, I've done it before. I'm
Yeah.
actually looking at possibly doing it again this year.
Yeah,
So-
I'm signed up in June. I've done it a couple of times. I love that course. That's a great course.
Yeah. So which distance were you doing?
I'm doing sprint this year.
Nice. Yeah, I think the last time I did it, I did sprint. So,
Mhm.
but yeah, that course is literally like 30 minutes from where I live. So,
Mhm.
Nice.
yeah. So,
And then there's the Hudson Valley Marathon as well. That's in
right.
May.
That's
That's
over the walkway bridge.
beautiful.
Yep. I haven't run that one.
Come run it.
Run it. Yeah. I don't know. I've signed up to do one in April, which I did last year in New Paltz. It's called the Baker's Half Dozen.
Oh,
So
that sounds fun.
it runs in Minnewaska State Park. So that's a fun one. And then in October, there's the Rhinebeck Half Marathon. So we'll see if I get to do those. I don't know.
Before we wrap this up, can you share a moment where you felt like giving up during a swim, but you were able to overcome it?
Really?
Yeah.
I actually I have one where I didn't overcome it. Would you like to know about one
Yeah,
too?
let's hear it.
So I went to Vermont a few years back. And then, like I said, I've swam the 200 every year I've gone. Well, the problem is when you're fast and you're expected to be fast, you swim much harder than you want to. So what happened was I was swimming and I was on like a 75 of the 200 and I swallowed water.
Ah,
Try to swim after swallowing 30-degree water. What happens is your throat closes up and
Oh,
you can't stop coughing because
oh no.
it's ice cold water going into your system. So I did the right thing. I
You
stopped.
left. Good.
Stopped and got out. I overcame that fear. And I actually the thing is, like, you have to be smart about it. It's like, sure, I can swim at 200 and everybody here knows I can swim at 200, but it's not worth dying for. Honestly,
Right.
it's not worth dying for. So yeah, so I swam the 200 and I swallowed water and I DNF because I was like, you know what? There's no reason to push myself to the point where I'm going to go end up in a hospital or I'm going to end up in the ambulance.
Yeah,
So
totally.
to overcome that, the next year I did it. So there you go. So, every year I've done it. That one year I did DNF, but the following year I came back and I actually swam the 200. So
So in terms of, thank you for sharing that. So in
yeah,
terms of getting started, you would suggest starting out in August and just continuing through the year. Like
That's right.
as the weather gets colder, just keep going. We went, Ray and I went until his birthday this year. I think it was what, November 19th, 18th?
18th.
Wow.
Yeah,
Nice.
And then we stopped.
yeah. I know what we're doing this
No.
year now.
No, don't stop. Keep going. Don't stop. You're right into it. Like,
It was like
It's too late now.
we have to stay in the water for 6 minutes and what was it? 6 minutes?
6 minutes and 20 seconds.
20
Well,
seconds.
that's what I do. So my birthday is also in November. And every year I've tried to stay in minutes to my age.
Oh,
Ah,
I've only
62 minutes?
62 minutes.
okay. Hillary, we're not doing that.
I didn't make it this year. I did make it last year. I made 61 minutes last year.
Wow.
I'm perfectly happy with doing a symbolic gesture, Hillary.
I mean, I'm with you on that. That's fine. So you're into November already. So you know what you do in November? It's cold. Yes, it's definitely cold
It
in
was
November.
cold.
Just shorten your swims, but continue to go in. If you want to like continue to do ice swimming or cold water swimming, the key to it is fine. I'm in it. Say it's 50 degrees. I don't know what the temperature was the last day you went in. Either one of you know?
It was, I think, 53, 54,
Yeah.
something like that.
Right.
Oh, I'm surprised.
So
it was that
there
low.
you go. 53, 54. You're heading in the right direction. The temperature keeps going down. Just shorten your swim time.
Fine.
It's
Mm.
not about how long you can go in it unless you're doing it competitively or, whatever the purpose of doing it longer for. It's about doing it more often. And it can be for 2 minutes or it could be for 3 minutes, whatever you want. But if you really want to do the cold water swimming, you just travel all the way through, even if it gets down, I know for a fact because I lived in the city for 25 years. And also on Facebook, Capri posts every day what the water temperature is in Coney Island. And it's only gotten down to 38 once this year. But that's the thing, so it's, say it hits 40, you stay in for 2 minutes and you get out and you put your towel on and you get warmed up. And the next day you do it again, it's 2 minutes. It's really about doing it more often than not doing it at all. Because once you stop trying to get back in, it's not gonna happen. It's, I took a week off last week. I went in on a Sunday and I went in the following Sunday and I could tell the difference. So that's the thing, just do it for a shorter period of time. Still do it.
So I was just thinking of it. Is there a difference in cold water swimming in salt water versus fresh water?
So the difference is the freezing temperature.
Right.
So the ocean has to be at 28 degrees to freeze with salt in it.
Mm-hmm.
It won't actually freeze completely unless it's under 28 degrees.
Right. But other than that, is there a difference in terms of?
No.
Okay, got it.
No, it's cold.
Right.
And my last question to you, Ed, is would you consider doing another camp? Because that was amazing.
Yeah, those days are done. But the good thing is, if you ever want to come train here, my doors are open to you. Whoever wants to come and train in upstate, I have a large enough house that we can put you guys up and you can come and train it. Ray, if you're going to do that triathlon and you need some time in upstate, come on up, stay with me. I have a 5-bedroom house here that lays empty because
And a very cute dog.
I have a dog and a wife, and that's it. So, we'll keep you warm, keep you fed. I think Hillary wants to come back because I'm a chef. And
the food was amazing.
Used to cook a lot. So, we used to have anywhere from 8 to 15 people come to our house to do triathlon camps. So,
that sounds great.
I feed them all day, every day for 3 days.
Wow.
Morning, noon, and night. So,
Dang.
but yeah, I think those days have sailed. But if anybody ever wants to come and train up here, they're welcome to come.
I might take you up on that, Ed.
You
That's
should.
right. Hillary's got to prepare for Hills come Montauk in September.
Well, there's a couple of hills here, aren't there?
Just a few.
Yeah.
I've trained for Lake Placid Ironman 3 times in this location. So,
Wow.
Yeah.
And I've never had a problem with Lake Placid, so shouldn't be a problem. If you need to train for hills, it's a place to come.
Okay, cool. Well, thank you very much. We appreciate your time today. This was really informative, and I'm going to be sending this out to everybody. And
I'm happy. I'm glad that people are still interested and want to learn a little bit about it. I mean, I'm not the end all to be all person. I know a ton, obviously, and I know a ton of people that swim in this world of ice swimming from around the world. And I've met a ton of them. And I learn every time I swim with them. So that's the great thing. And I love to share what I know to people who are interested in the same thing that I am. So thank you for inviting me.
Thank you.
And is there any way, if anybody wants to get in touch with you to?
Yeah, they can just, my email, my personal email is e.gabriels24@gmail.com. You can post that through. But yeah, anybody who wants to contact me, have any questions or want to know anything else, if I know the answer, I'll let you know. And if I don't, I'll ask somebody that knows more about it than I do. And there's a ton of those people. So.
Great. Well, thank you very much. Appreciate it.
You're welcome, guys.
All right, thanks.
Okay,
for
thank you.
Jumping on,
Thank you.
everybody.
Nice
Bye.
to meet you all. Bye-bye.
Bye.